Only one station has the power to cover Oklahoma with freedom, and you're listening to it. Your 100,000-watt talker is the new Freedom 96.9 and freedom969.com. Freedom
Weather.
Here's your Oklahoma City AccuWeather forecast. This afternoon will bring mostly cloudy skies with comfortable conditions and a high of 58. Tonight, expect clear skies with a low of 40. Tomorrow will be mostly cloudy with occasional rain and a thunderstorm possible late in the afternoon with a high reaching 66. On Monday, there will be a couple of showers in the morning, but the sun will return after a cloudy start, reaching a high of 64. Tuesday looks mostly sunny with breezy conditions in the afternoon and a high of 60. With your Oklahoma City AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
We interrupt our program with a special bulletin.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast are solely those of the speakers and other contributors. These views and opinions do not necessarily represent those of this station.
Broadcasting live from the command center of Freedom, 96.9 in Oklahoma City, it's McRoof Fortifies, Oklahoma. Saving lives, protecting property, fortifying Oklahoma, one roof at a time. I'm Rick Allen Lippert here with Hague Certified Master Level Damage Inspector, Oklahoma Licensed Public Adjuster, Fortified Evaluator, and IBHS Fortified Roofing Contractor, Scott McCullum.
Hey, good morning, sir.
Also here, Hague Certified Wind and Hail Roofing Inspector, Scotty McCullum.
That's commercial in wind to you, buddy.
Oh, gosh. All right. Note taken.
Good morning.
Retro Radio. Randy is running the show again today. Still on probation, but I am going to lift it temporarily for a moment. Later on, you'll see. So you won't be hearing from him today mostly, but you can talk to him when you call 405-608-4377. We are live streaming the show today on the McRoof Fortifies Oklahoma YouTube channel, and we're streaming the audio on freedom969.com. We'll start as usual with our trivia question and other interesting tidbits, including the word of the week. The phone number again to answer the trivia question or to just ask a question, 405-608-4377. Later, we'll hear Scotty's view from the rooftop, and we'll have some After the Storm tips brought to you by Roof RX. We'll wrap up with Dad's Wisdom. Coming back from breaks, some certified obscure historical trivia. Now, guys, I mentioned here last week that I had a root canal and that I thought I heard the endodontist say something of importance to me while I was under the influence of a high dose of nitrous oxide. Wasn't sure. Well, yesterday he called to follow up and check on my tooth, which is fine, by the way. Thank you for asking. And then before ringing off, he remembered he had one more thing to say. He said, remember to say that S&CM LLC, doing business as McRoof.us, legally operates under Oklahoma registration number 80000002, and that the registration applies to both residential and commercial roofing. So it was real when I heard it the first time.
Wow.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
You should get a credit on your bill for having to listen to that from him twice. You know, that's.
Hey, the fact that he called to follow up was
That's
really
pretty courteous.
Yeah. The irony is that everything was fine, and then last night when I was brushing my teeth, I swallowed the temporary crown.
Oh, golly. Yeah, that can happen.
So there we go. Let's get into our trivia question, shall we?
Okay, let's do it. So the Institute for Business and Home Safety just released their most extensive lineup of shingles approved for fortified high wind and hail designate status. One manufacturer led the way with the most product offerings meeting this standard. Name that manufacturer. A, GAF, B, Owens Corning, C, Certainteed, D, Malarkey, or E, none of the above.
You really had to throw the E in there. Come on.
If you think you know the answer to that trivia question, 405-608-4377. The winner will get their choice of either the book Raving Fans or Unreasonable Hospitality, or 2 free tickets to any Carpenter Square Theater production this season. And I must say that next Friday night, this coming Friday night, right after Thanksgiving, we open It's a Wonderful Life, the live on-stage radio version. So our stage is now a radio studio circa 1946, 47.
How cool is that?
And we picked up a show sponsor to sponsor that show, a company you may have heard about called McRoof.us.
Hey, that's very nice.
Interesting.
So I expect a company party out of you. So, again, that trivia question, Chad, I know you're on the air. You're probably wanting to answer the question, so let me repeat it for folks who may have just tuned in. The Institute of Business and Home Safety just released their most extensive lineup of shingles approved for fortified wind and hail designation status. One manufacturer led the way with the most product offerings meeting this standard. Name that manufacturer. Without the letters, I'll just say GAF, Owens Corning, Certainteed, or Malarkey.
Is it Owens Corning?
Dad?
No, it's not.
Man, Chad, I am so
No,
sorry.
It's not.
No.
Good guess, though, Chad. Owens Corning is a great manufacturer.
Actually, Chad, just so you know, Owens Corning had 4 entries on the list. Okay, so
4. That's a pretty.
they were near the top of the list.
But there was one other manufacturer that had more shingles approved.
That's right.
Well,
That's right.
And
means
that's
that
who
was
we're
a
going
very,
for.
very close guess, Chad.
All right.
Okay.
Appreciate it, man.
Enjoy
Thanks
your
for
weekend.
listening.
Bye.
So, folks, once again, the Institute, we're narrowing it down because Scotty scratched E off the list.
I didn't scratch it off.
Well, you called it into question. That's good enough. The Institute of Business and Home Safety just released their most extensive lineup of shingles approved for fortified wind and hail designation status. One manufacturer led the way with the most product offerings meeting this standard. Name that manufacturer. GAF, Certainteed, or Malarkey. 405-608-4377.
Wow, you are whittling it down, aren't you?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay.
And if any of you are regular listeners to this show, this is what they say in golf is a gimme?
Yeah, that's a gimme. Yeah, that's a gimme. Low-hanging fruit for sure. So.
Okay, so the word of the week, gentlemen.
Mitigate. That is mitigate.
And what do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, taking steps to reduce the severity of a loss or to prevent further damage after an event occurs, a loss event occurs. Referring to proactive measures that can be taken to reduce the risk of a claim in the first place or damage of any kind in the first place. For policyholders with insurance considerations, with regard to insurance considerations, this involves the duty to act reasonably quickly to minimize your loss, while an insurer may also partake in the mitigation aspect of damage. They may have a preferred vendor for, say, remediation services. There's water damage, there's flood, some other catastrophe, and they've got a list of vendors that a client can call to get quick emergency service if a tree falls on their house and it's in the middle of a pouring rainstorm.
Right.
Something like that.
So the big point about mitigation, and this I'm huge on this. This is where we come into the idea of building better. We come into the idea of our systems, roofs, and our IBHS fortified things. Mitigate is to reduce or lessen the severity of. So we're mitigating, we're reducing the risk or severity of the damage that you will sustain within our part of the country, severe convective storms, wind, hail, tornado. So that's what mitigate is. There are 2 aspects to it. There is mitigation before an event, which is a voluntary
Before the storm and after the storm.
Before the storm is voluntary. After the storm is a contractual obligation that an insured, a duty that an insured has to an insurance carrier. We're trying to get people to be proactive and to mitigate prior to there ever being a loss event.
So to put it in simple terms that I can understand, for example, if I have a big tree with a obviously big dead limb over my house, it's up to me to take that limb out.
You're mitigating the risk.
Right. Before the storm knocks that limb through my roof.
Exactly right. Now, the opposite of that would be for you to know that, to do nothing about it, thinking, well, I'm just going to wait for that big limb to fall through my house, and then I'll get the insurance company to pay to take care of that for me. All right?
Right.
So that's the opposite of that.
Yeah. Okay, we have Floyd on the line. Hey, Floyd, you want to give us a shot at which manufacturer has the most product offerings on the IBHS list of shingles approved for fortified wind and hail? Go ahead.
Well, I want to give it my best shot. Love listening to you guys.
Well, thank you.
Certainteed.
Hey!
Ding, 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 ding. Way to go, Floyd.
Yeah.
Way to go, Floyd.
That's what you get for listening to
He's
McRoof
been drinking the
Fortifies
Kool-Aid, hasn't he? So I'm gonna tell you, we've got, of course, the answer is C, Certainteed. They have their Northgate Climate Flex shingle. They have their Landmark Climate Flex shingle. They have their Landmark shingle, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. They have Belmont, and they have Presidential Shake IR. So Certainteed has 5 offerings on this latest list of approved shingles for the high wind and hail designation. Absolutely.
Hey, Floyd, thanks so much. Stay
Nice
on the
guess,
line.
Floyd.
Let Randy get your details, and I hope you choose the 2 free tickets to Carpenter Square Theater because you're going to love the show that McRoof is sponsoring. It's a wonderful life.
Thanks for listening, Floyd. We appreciate you, sir.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay.
Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Enjoy your weekend.
And to you. So if Randy, let's go ahead and do the bump out music so I can get us into a break. And with that, we'll take our our first break in the McRoof Fortifies Oklahoma radio program. It's a live show. You just heard a live phone call on Freedom 96.9.
2 live phone calls.
2 live phone calls on Freedom
At
96.9.
8:17 a.m.
Yeah, live radio on Freedom on Saturday morning. Yeah, that doesn't come very often.
They deal with the insurance company for you, which is so nice and helpful.
One of the most important things that I prioritize is setting the right expectation, what they can expect from their insurance carrier, what ducks need to be lined up to make sure their project reaches the outcome that they desire.
I'm on the phone most of the day, talking with insurance companies, trying to resolve a claim that has not been paid correctly. We don't give up.
They were able to come out and give a full, in-depth inspection. That process ultimately led to a doubling of the claim.
He probably got me, at least on this roof, $50,000 more by my calculation than I would have gotten with the other roofers.
It goes far beyond what a normal roofing company would do. We're going to do it right.
Everything starts with the inspection. At RoofRx, we're not just flying drones. We're the team that built and teaches the state-of-the-art drone program at Francis Tuttle in Oklahoma City. That expertise means we know how to capture the right images so Hague-certified Scotty and his team can deliver an accurate prescription for your roof. And if there isn't damage, you still get a documented baseline, a 3D model with high-quality images, so you're informed and protected for the future. RoofRx, the prescription for your ailing roof.
McRoof Fortifies Oklahoma back on the air. Hey, trivia time, and we're lifting the probation for Retro Radio Randy because he is Mr. Baseball, and our first official obscure trivia fact today is in 1908, the first first U.S.-Japanese baseball game was played?
Outstanding.
Now, I thought Japanese baseball was a thing of like the 1970s or something like
No.
Goes back to the beginning of the century.
They've been playing baseball in Japan for a very, very long time, and a lot of players in the United States, going back to the 70s and even before, when they would come out of college, if they did not make the majors, they would go to Japan to play as kind of a developmental league, so to speak, and some great players have played in Japan, and just recently in the World Series.
That's right.
The Los Angeles Dodgers had two major players that have Japanese origins, Shohei Ohtani and Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who is a fantastic pitcher. That guy's incredible, and helped them win the series this year. And, of course, we have the AAA affiliate for the Dodgers here in Oklahoma City, the OKC Comets. So,
like I said, Mr. Baseball.
Woohoo! Love the game.
Now, you didn't screw up, so you're not really on probation anymore.
But Scotty wants his mic back.
Yes, he does.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
And the next sports-related trivia, which if I'm doing sports trivia, you know the pickings are slim out there. But in 1930, the first U.S. football game was broadcast to England. And that was Harvard versus Yale. Harvard won 13-0. By the way, the first U.S.-Japanese baseball game, U.S. won 5-0.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. And then in the first football game radio broadcast to England, Harvard beat Yale 13-0. Okay,
hey,
gentlemen.
Rick, before we get too far away from IBHS shingle ratings, I do want to go back to something that is very, very new. In the 2025 standard, which went into effect on November 1st of this year.
Brand new.
The 2025 standard has some verbiage that is a little different from what it was before.
Oh.
And basically what it says is that asphalt shingles must be tested and approved by IBHS. It was previously all the shingles on that approved list were what we called modified SBS technology, this new technology. Guess what? One of the CertainTeed traditional methodology, old school shingles.
Dropping the metal ball.
The shingle landmark, all right? Not landmark Climate Flex, which is modified.
Landmark is a Class 3 shingle.
Is a Class 3 shingle. That shingle performed so well in IBHS fortified hail testing that Class 3 shingle is listed as an acceptable shingle for the fortified wind and hail standard.
Whereas almost all, if not all, of the other shingles on the list are Class 4 rated.
Class
2218 Class 4.
Class 4 and modified SBS, most of them. Now, they also, a couple of the other shingles that have been added, CertainTeed shingles, the CertainTeed Belmont, which is a slate look luxury shingle, is not an SBS modified shingle. The CertainTeed Presidential IR, impact resistant presidential, which is a shake look shingle, that is not modified SBS technology. So there is a big difference in the list that we were dealing with prior to November 1st and the list that we're now dealing with. The list before November 1st did not have any luxury or different looking shingles. They were all what you would call your traditional shingle line. So it's a very different list now.
Wow.
Lots of options for people.
Wow.
That's impressive that a landmark shingle passed all of their criteria.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, we've
been using landmark for 20 years.
Well, and we've said
And it hasn't. The formulation hasn't changed that I know of.
I've made this comment before that to a lot of roofers that my landmark shingle is outperforming your Class 4 shingle.
Yeah.
And there, the proof is in the testing.
There it is.
It's right there in front of us.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Hey, what did you guys do this past week?
Oh man, Scotty, go ahead.
Well, after the radio last Saturday,
Celebrated my birthday.
Oh, that's
ding,
right.
Ding,
You had a
ding,
birthday
ding.
this past week.
That
Happy
was
birthday
the big
to
7-0.
Yeah, thanks, Scotty.
Well, sorry if you, if you didn't want people to know.
I think everybody knows.
Yeah, most people listening. After the radio last Saturday, I went and picked up a new rental hot pressure washer.
Oh, yeah.
And successfully finished with 5 hours on Saturday and just a couple more on Sunday morning. Finished pressure washing that big metal roof that Sean and I had all the equipment issues with the first rental place.
Yeah.
So that was,
Now,
and we finished all the repairs.
Was this place out in the country?
It's just northwest Edmond.
Because I was going to say, if you're out there with the pressure washer on a Sunday morning, I'll bet the neighbors were really happy.
Oh, there are no neighbors.
Okay.
There are no neighbors.
It's
just
isolated.
a bunch of cows.
Okay.
It's isolated.
Yeah.
So and we finished the repairs. Let's see, just yesterday.
Wow.
The original scope. Now they've expanded it substantially. So we'll see about that.
Oh, a case of the Misewell.
While we're at it.
Yeah.
While we're at it.
Yeah,
It's only
a lot of those.
Yeah. Oh, I have lived that one.
Well, Scotty is really detailed and really thorough, and people see that, and they have him maybe look at things that are a little outside of the exact roofing scope as well, and that kind of leads to a lot of these. While we're at it, we might as well, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, but so Scotty and Sean had a busy week on repairs this week. So doing big jobs.
It's really really fun. I will say, learning from Sean some things about construction and different applications, non-roofing related, that I don't know very much about.
All right.
Because Sean has a breadth of experience,
carpentry,
in his
siding,
past, in his past lines of work that is far more, far more broad than what I'm used to doing on the roofs.
Right.
And it's always a pleasure to work with Sean, and he and I get along pretty well, and I think we make a pretty decent repair team.
Good.
So I had a crazy week, and again, my focus with Orca and my focus in the community and our focus at McRoof is all about this mitigating risk and building better and all. So this week I had 3 different conversations that were all kind of in that realm. I had a rather lengthy meeting with the city of Moore. The building officials there, they are very, very, already have probably the strongest by ordinance roofing regulations in the state, certainly, and want to push it even further than that. So that's what those conversations were about. What can we do to craft this ordinance, and how are we going to be able to sell this to the committee, to the mayor, to the citizens, everyone else? So that's kind of what that work is all about, kind of a place that Orca wants to have a role in that, Avery and Orca. The city of Oklahoma City had a meeting with them. We actually have entered their neighborhood services contracting program.
Cool.
Just so that we can teach them a little bit about fortified, about the evaluator role, about the process of building a fortified roof, and sign the contract and paperwork. For McRoof to build the first roof for them in their grant program.
Oh, nice.
It's
Very
actually
nice.
a government grant program that the city administers. And then the third meeting was with a group of contractors and evaluators who are very, very active in the Oklahoma Insurance Department Strengthen Oklahoma Homes grant program. I think in the room represented certainly the vast majority of the number of roofs that have been built to date. We were talking about some of the issues and concerns that everyone has from a contractor and an evaluator perspective. So that's kind of the work that I'm doing more and more and more of, and busy week in that regard. So.
We'll be back after the news. I want to tease you with the idea that coming up in the next half hour, we'll be talking about the IBHS wildfire preparedness standards. You'll want to hear about this because of our forecast dry winter, and you know what a dry winter results in. Lots of springtime wildfires. You're listening to McRoof Fortifies Oklahoma. We'll be right back.
The best way to stay up to date on the issues that impact your life is to listen to the new Freedom 96.9 and freedom969.com. Mornings at noon and on the way home from work. Oklahoma's Talk Radio. Freedom
Weather. Here's your Oklahoma City AccuWeather forecast. This afternoon will bring mostly cloudy skies with comfortable conditions and a high of 58. Tonight, expect clear skies with a low of 40. Tomorrow will be mostly cloudy with occasional rain and a thunderstorm possible late in the afternoon with a high reaching 66. On Monday, there will be a couple of showers in the morning, but the sun will return after a cloudy start, reaching a high of 64. Tuesday looks mostly sunny with breezy conditions in the afternoon and a high of 60. With your Oklahoma City AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
We interrupt our program with a special bulletin.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast are solely those of the speakers and other contributors. These views and opinions do not necessarily represent those of this station.
McRoof Fortifies Oklahoma back on the air for the second half of today's live program on Freedom 96.9. Hey, on this date in 1934, this date of November 22nd, 1934, on the Eddie Cantor radio show, was the first time anybody ever heard the song Santa Claus is Coming to Town. And then on this date in 1955, Elvis Presley's contract was bought by RCA Records for $35,000. They bought it from Sun Records, the label in Memphis that discovered Elvis and made him a star, and then RCA swooped in for the low price of $35,000 to buy Elvis's contract. I wonder how much he got out of it and how much Colonel Parker got out of that. I wonder if Elvis saw anything out of that.
Peanut butter sandwich.
Yeah, yeah, with bananas. All right. Where are we? Okay, gentlemen, let's talk about the code class that you have coming up.
Oh, okay. Well, this is anybody that's interested. We've got ORCA
and ORCA is the Oklahoma Roofing Contractors Association.
Yep. So we're doing another code training class where we talk about how we build roofs to the building code. We're doing that class on December the 4th. This one will be in Tulsa. really gearing it to a lot of folks who didn't make it to our Oklahoma City class a couple of months ago, trying to get those folks involved and engaged in what a code-compliant roof system really looks like. Because as we know, most code officials don't know what that is.
That's right.
Most roofers don't know what that is. And so we're going to do a little bit of teaching. So,
Are you going to be the primary presenter?
I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, I am the presenter.
Hey, folks, if you would like to call in and ask these guys a question about roofing, 405-608-4377. This is a Saturday morning. If you're listening to the Sunday afternoon rebroadcast, don't call because ain't nobody home. But 405-608-4377.
So, in the code world, Rick, and you've heard me make this comment because you've been to some of the classes and different things, but I say this in front of a group of contractors who are kind of let's call them the cream of the crop. Let's talk about the contractors who build systems roofs, who think that they're building code-compliant roofs, and I'll make the statement that there's no such thing as a code-compliant roof in Oklahoma, and they'll all look at me and go, "Oh, indignant, well, of course we build a code-compliant roof," and we'll start down the list. Okay. And it really doesn't take very long to see the light bulbs, blinking and things, and people kind of understanding, we thought we built a code-compliant roof. And so,
so they start leaning back and shrinking in
not
the
to
chairs.
get really deep into the woods, but first of all, we start real easily. What is the gauge of the flashings that you use, and do you remove and replace all the flashings on the roof? Well, the building code calls for those flashings to be 26 gauge. Most of the stuff that most roofers order from distribution, ABC, QXO, SRS, Spec, any of the distributors, most of the flashings are not 26 gauge steel. Right.
Which baffles me that it's even that the lesser gauge is available.
That's a whole different conversation.
Yeah, I understand.
So then we'll talk. So that's number one. All right. And they go, oh. And then we'll go, okay, are you reflashing all your chimneys, and are you replacing all the base flashings and storm collars and caps on all of the mechanical equipment? No, we don't do that. And then we get into how are the underlayments attached on the roof. And most underlayment in Oklahoma is put on with a tack stapler.
Okay.
All right. The building code calls for that to be put on with a ring shank nail of 1 inch and a plastic cap of a certain diameter to hold it in place. So that is. So there are a few things right there, and by that time, most of the people in the room understand that we do not truly build to the building code. Ventilation is a huge deal. It's not in Chapter 9 of the International Residential Code. You have to go back to a different chapter. That chapter tells you that everything that is ventilated must be ventilated through the roof. In other words, if you have bath vents, you can't just tie that vent, run it over to the soffit, and have that in the soffit. It has to be vented through the roof.
Wow.
If you have a range vent, a dryer vent, obviously all your gas and plumbing has to go through the roof and be terminated. And those things are things that are typically not done in most roofs. People will go, oh, well, that's the way it was before. We didn't touch that. Well, that's okay. But the standard of installation in Oklahoma is the building code as adopted by the Oklahoma Uniform Building Code Commission. And you as a contractor, as an authorized representative for any entity, plumber, electrician, roofer, anyone that has to be registered or licensed by the state, you signed an affidavit that says that you understand what the standard of installation is, and yet you don't even know what the standard of installation requires.
Ooh,
so it's, anyway.
Hey, Scotty, let's take you up on the roof. Now, hang on there.
It's windy up here, Rick.
Oh, man. All right, Scotty, what's the title of your view from this week's rooftop?
I don't have one.
Uh-oh. Well, what's your story, young man?
Well, we were talking about evolutions that let's just say we have projects. Someone has an insurance claim. They want us to replace their roof, gutters, maybe a couple odds and ends that the insurance allowed for. But oftentimes things evolve as the job goes on, and this is a job that has definitely taken place on.
Okay.
Not the roof that we were talking about earlier, the metal roof, but this is a job up in Enid where we replaced the roof a couple months ago and did a couple other things that the claim allowed. And I have learned so much about general construction, specifically framing, and I don't even know if you would say minor carpentry. That's up to Scott to say yes or no or to approve that term. But Sean, I've been able to observe a very intricate and tedious, painstaking labor to properly tie in this man's pergola to his main roof. We did a full paint job on the exterior as well as the roof, which was an add-on, of course. And in doing so, our painters had to remove the pergola panels, loosen them, reset them slightly outside of where they originally laid in order to access the fascia and all the details that they needed to in order to paint those surfaces. And then we had a strong wind come in. I said, no, it'll be fine. You know, if anything happens, it's my responsibility because I'm approving you to do this because there's no way to not do it that way. But we're going to get the pergola replaced soon. Actually, we weren't supposed to replace the pergola. We're going to get the tune-up done. Anyways, the wind came in on a weekend, ripped those temporary fasteners out, the battens out. Now we're replacing the pergola. But while we decided that we had to do that, the owner said, hey, let's make this even better than it was before, so let's tie it into the roof. So I thought I knew what it was going to need, and long story short, it's been a little bit of an evolution.
Right.
Well, and the problem with that, and this is, and I'm not throwing Scotty under the bus, but the problem with that is that Scotty's not understanding what the scope and methodology of that would actually involve. And Scotty wrote the estimate for doing that work for his change order for his client. And at the end of the day, that's woefully short of what it really should have been. That's neither here nor there. We don't go back to the client and say, hey, we made a mistake. You owe us more money. We go and do what we said we were going to do. And the pain is our pain. It's not someone else's pain. And when this is done, he's going to have that work executed as well as it could possibly be done. We don't look for ways to cut corners or save money. We want to make sure that we've done something that is done correctly, that we're not going to have an automatic callback or a fail point for our client.
Well, long story short, we'll be finishing up on Monday or Tuesday, and Sean has done an excellent job with the
carpentry,
the rough cedar.
Yeah.
Tying that into the existing pergola and into the roof to add structural support for extending those pergola panels and tying them into the new shingled roof that we installed. And thankfully, because of Wanda's persistence and a little bit of detail on my end, we've gotten the insurance company to pay what they should have paid all along for at least removing and resetting the entire pergola, which offsets our cost a little bit to replace what we had left prone on that pergola.
Well, very good. Very good. Hey, I want to remind everybody that you can still call 405-608-4377. This is coming up on last call for your call. We'll be taking our final break of the morning. And then when we come back, we'll be talking about that IBHS wildfire preparedness, and we'll have our after the storm tip. So remember, you're listening to McRoof Fortifies Oklahoma live on Freedom 96.9. Again, that number to call, 405-608-4377. 4377. Some more obscure historical trivia and some not so obscure historical trivia when we come back. Homer Stacy was a wholesome, good American kid from Texas. At the age of 18, he enlisted in the United States Army Horse Cavalry and was stationed at Fort Bliss. Homer was fascinated with aircraft, so he went to flight school and became an Army Air Corps pilot. Homer Stacy flew a Convair B-24 Liberator, the Yankee Doodle Dandy, on November 11, 1943, when his crew, along with 31 other bombers, destroyed a ball-bearing plant in occupied France. On a return trip, a mechanical failure caused the Yankee Doodle Dandy to drop out of formation, leaving it vulnerable, and shortly thereafter, 7 German Me-109s shot down the plane near Andano, Italy. 4 crew members were killed on board, the others parachuted. 1 was captured and taken prisoner. Homer was among the remaining 5 who made it to Switzerland and returned to duty. Homer Stacy survived World War II, the Korean War, and retired after 23 years of service with many awards and commendations, including the Distinguished Flying Cross, the Purple Heart, and multiple air medals. Homer Stacy McCollum, Scott McCollum's dad. Scott McCollum is McRoof. McRoof.us is owned and operated by the McCollum family, an honorable, trustworthy red, white, and blue family. If you want to fortify your property, call McRoof.us at 405-877-4663. Ask for your complimentary roof inspection performed by a credentialed Hague residential inspector. McRoof.us, saving lives and protecting property by fortifying Oklahoma one roof at a time. McRoof Fortifies Oklahoma back on the air for the final segment of this morning's live show, November 22nd. Now, those of you of a certain age will remember that on this date in 1963, President John F. Kennedy was assassinated in Dallas. And then also on this date, later that day, Lyndon B. Johnson was sworn in as the 36th president. I remember being in, I think, maybe the 5th grade, and the door opened and somebody wheeled in a big TV on an AV cart and turned it on, and we all watched it for a little while, and then they sent us home early.
Yeah, I was in the 3rd grade. I can remember very distinctly them sending us home. I can remember walking home the 3 or 4 blocks, with 3 or 4 of us just bubbling and crying and just kind of,
it was unfathomable.
I can remember that.
Yeah.
Clearly.
And then on this date in 1985, the largest swearing-in ceremony of immigrants to become U.S. citizens. On this date, 1985, 38,648 people in one fell swoop became U.S. citizens.
Wow.
Okay, I teased it all. We got to talk to Benny. Let's get you on and off because we have a lot to talk about.
I love it.
Good morning, Benny.
Good morning.
Did you hear what he just said, Benny?
Yeah, get me on and get me out of your hair. I heard that.
Oh,
the
my
views
God.
I take just to talk to you guys.
Hey, I will chastise him properly after the show, okay?
Maybe he needs to go on probation.
Yeah, well, we've talked about that too. So.
Well, Benny, you know when guys razz each other, that means they accept one another.
Yeah.
Well, I did have a question, and I think I know the answer, but I thought I'd raise it for some people that may be scratching their heads. On the code requirement on venting, on dryer vents, those that are pre-existing coming out through the side of the house, I presume those are left untouched.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. What the code is addressing is the dryer vents that are stubbed up into the attic space that do not exhaust,
like yours was.
That do not exhaust through the roof. Okay. That's what the code's addressing. So there's a lot of bath vents that are just stubbed up with that little turn up, that 90 turned up into above the joist, and that's it. It's not exhausted anywhere. It's just what it's doing. And your dryer vent the same way. Not only you're covering your attic in the lint and stuff, which is a fire hazard, but you're also putting all that warm, moist air directly into your attic on the bottom of your roof deck. And that's not where you want that. So
creating a bad environment
yep,
for mold.
absolutely, absolutely.
What have you.
Yes, sir.
Hey, by the way, happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you, and I appreciate I appreciate the thoughts and all, and appreciate you sending the card and everything else, Benny. I appreciate you so much.
Well, little birdie told me you had a.
I know that little birdie named Carly. I know she. I've got to say, I had the most attaboys and thank yous and some really, really genuinely touching cards from folks this year. So
it was the mama hen that let me.
Oh,
know.
was it Mama? Oh, okay. I didn't know Mama cared, but anyway.
she hides her affection very well.
Oh, I tell you what, she's a saint.
Okay, guys. Hey, thanks for your time.
All right,
Enjoy
bud.
the rest of your
Thank
weekend.
you. Appreciate you, man.
You too,
Thank
Benny.
you.
All right, so
and Benny has one of those roofs that would have qualified for that standard. His is not built to the fortified standard, but he has that Northgate. He either has Northgate or Landmark Climate Flex. Northgate, yeah.
Okay, IBHS wildfire preparation.
Well, and the reason I want to start talking a little bit about wildfire, obviously we've talked about the whole concept of not just McRoof fortifying Oklahoma, but we've talked about the entire concept of fortifying the heartland and kind of spreading this messaging. I obviously have had a lot of conversations with Chris Meredith, who is my good friend, our client, and candidate for insurance commissioner in Oklahoma next year.
Right.
And there's this kind of vision of what we want to do with a lot of things to change the insurance space and the built environment space. And a lot of those things have to do, again, with the mitigation, with building resiliency, with the systems and things. And we have IBHS in addition to the fortified roof and the fortified silver and gold standard for new construction for homes. They also have a program called Wildfire Prepared. And as you mentioned, we're in that, what are we in that, La Nina? Is that where we are?
La Nina.
We're in La Nina, anticipated potentially a dry winter. And we all know that a dry winter leads us to a much higher probability of having a severe fire season next fall, next spring. So I want to talk about the program that's Wildfire Prepared. This is the program of IBHS. There's two different levels for Wildfire Prepared. There's a base level designation that is actually achievable, and then there is a plus level with different level or different items of mitigation that are added. So I'm going to have Scotty just kind of go through a few of the very, very basic things. This all makes perfect sense. The things that I talk about in the roofing space, you want a Class A fire-rated roof. All right, and that is where we start, I believe, Scotty, on this particular list.
Yes, it's the first time seeing this, so if I stumble, don't blame me too much.
You're not going to stumble.
But I'll get right into it. Gutters, non-combustible materials, metal, not plastic.
We do see, we don't see a lot, but we do see plastic gutters. Yep. That is not a good thing.
No.
In the gutters, this is something we talk about often, especially in the fall. Removing debris, usually tree debris, organic material, leaves, twigs, sticks, anything really that falls from a tree, vegetative debris from roof levels and guttering.
I've seen rags in gutters. I've seen stuff in gutters that doesn't belong in gutters.
I've had trees growing out of gutters.
We actually have pictures of plants growing out of the sediment in the bottom of gutter trays.
Definitely. enclose the eaves, enclose the exposed underside of eaves with non-combustible. I don't know why I keep saying B. Non-combustible materials such as metal or, say, fiber cement, stucco, etc.
Okay. So
rather than an exposed cornice construction.
So
that's what they're talking about is avoid or enclose your open cornice.
Our older houses, go down into Midtown, go down into the historic areas and things, and you see a lot of houses that have exposed rafter tails. That means that the bottom of that rafter, you're also exposing the bottom of the roof deck. Typically, that was a plank board or something like that. By now, is dried and to the nth degree. Those are very, very susceptible because what happens is if you have a fire on the ground, what happens? What do we know? Heat, embers, everything rises, all right? So if it goes up against that wall and it hits that brick wall or that side of that house, it's going to go up vertically. If you have an exposed soffit, if you have the rafter tails and that old decking, it is an immediate place for entry of that fire into your attic, and at that point, the house is probably gone.
Yep. Jump into the next category, vents. Install flame and ember-resistant vents or cover existing ones with steel mesh at the roof, attic, eaves, or foundation. Ensure a functional louver or flap for dryer vents.
And those vents that you're covering, you cover those with they consider an ember-free or something. That is a mesh that has less than a 1/8 inch opening in it.
Okay.
Okay, that's what you're looking for.
I'm just going to have to pick the most high-profile items from this list. Siding materials. Choose non-combustible siding and shutters such as metal, brick, fiber cement, masonry veneer, stucco, or I already said metal. Those are the most common.
So again, the vinyl siding is never going to be a good thing in a fire situation.
Yeah.
That's going to melt. Once that melts, you've exposed your sheathing. Your sheathing may or may not have any level of non-combustibility to it or any resistance, and then that fire is in your wall cavities and into your house.
Exterior doors. Use non-combustible doors with a metal threshold.
There you go.
Okay.
Probably not fiberglass or definitely not wood.
Yeah.
Well, I will say, as we're running out of time in this hour, that I saw a news story on TV, a couple, 3 months ago about Los Angeles rebuilding those neighborhoods that burned out.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole story was about how these neighborhoods when they rebuild,
they're being built to this standard.
To this very standard here. And they specified nothing organic between houses. You can't have lawn or trees or shrubs.
That's what they call the defensible zone.
Yeah, the defensible zone and the ember-free zone. That's the way we refer to that. And you're looking for an area, and I'll have people that'll say, oh, I don't like the way that looks. They think of it simply as xeriscape. That's not what it is.
Right.
You can literally have that xeriscape, that concrete or that paver or that gravel within that 5 feet of that structure, and then you can have your landscaping buffer. What you want to look at from the street can be outside of that 5-foot zone. You also have to look at your wood fence attachments and things like that. Basically, you're trying to get this defensible space. And if you have this defensible, see, these are common sense things. There are only 2 programs in the country through the states. That's California and Oregon. We need to have a wildfire prepared program in Oklahoma, and Chris Meredith and I have been talking about it.
And we will, I'm sure, talk about this a whole lot more in future Saturday mornings. I do have to say that S&CM LLC, doing business as McRoof.us, legally operates under Oklahoma registration number 8000002, and that the registration applies to both residential and commercial roofing. Okay, Dad's Wisdom.
Well, this has to do with Scotty's client who is getting a second roof in 1 year. You can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make him drink.
This has been episode number 34 of McRoof Fortifies Oklahoma on Freedom 96.9. I'm Rick Allen Lippert. Thank you, Scott McCullum. Thank you, Scotty McCullum. Thank you, Retro Radio Randy.
Yeah.
We'll be back next week. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Absolutely. Happy Turkey Day.
And remember, Carpenter Square Theater, It's a Wonderful Life, opens Friday night, and we have a new parking lot right across the street.
Nice.
Amazing.
Enjoy your weekend.
KQOB Enid, Oklahoma City. Make the right choice and keep tuned to the new Freedom 96.9, your first choice for talk radio in Oklahoma.
I know. All right,